Welcome to the Accessing GovConnectIowa series. This tutorial will demonstrate how to file a utility replacement tax return. Please note that all information used in this tutorial is fictitious and created in a test environment, and your portal may look different due to system updates. To file a utility replacement tax return, you must log in with your username and password. Don't have a username and password? Check out our Creating Your Logon tutorial for more. I will enter my information now and will click Log In. Once you are logged in and connected to your account, you will view your accounts on your home page. To file your return, click the File, Amend, or View Returns hyperlink in the Account panel. You will see a listing of all available returns listed in rows. I have located my utility replacement tax return and will click File Now to begin my return. The first thing we need to decide is which utilities we are filing for. At least one of these will need to be selected in order to move forward. I'm going to file for electric and gas in this example, so I will check those boxes and then click Next. Next up, we will need to complete our tax options for the electric choice, beginning with delivery tax. To add a record for total taxable kilowatt hours of electricity delivered to consumers during the preceding calendar year within each competitive service area, click the Add a Record hyperlink. Throughout this return, you will notice several required fields with a red asterisk. You will need to enter this information to continue. You will also notice several gray boxes. You cannot edit information in these fields. However, the fields will auto-populate based on information you add in the required fields. Let's take a look at what that will look like. I will start by clicking the drop-down menu to select my competitive service area. I'll select my area from this menu. And just like that, the system automatically updated my delivery rate field to match my selected service area. Now let's see what happens when I add my kilowatt hours delivered amount. The system has automatically completed the math on my behalf. Wonderful! Okay, let's move on. To add this service area, I will click the Add button. I have one more to add, so I'll do that now, and then move on to the next section. Have you noticed these help hyperlinks? They are everywhere on this return. If you are ever unsure of what a section means on this return, click the help hyperlink to learn more. Let's check out what help is available for the bypass delivery tax. A window will appear with help text regarding the item, in this case, the bypass delivery tax. The note says this section should be completed by taxpayers who have bypassed the local distribution utility in receiving a delivery of electricity. Okay, thanks to that description, I know I don't have any bypass delivery tax to add, so I'll move on to the next section. Next, we need to add each record of total taxable kilowatt hours of electricity generated in Iowa during the preceding year. As we did before, I will click the Add a Record hyperlink to continue. We have 3 required fields and 2 auto-populated fields in this record. Answer yes or no to the first 2, and then add the kilowatt hours generated into the text field. I will add my responses now. My responses have been added, and as you can see, my generation tax has auto-populated. I will click Add to add this record. I think you're going to notice a pattern here. Next up, generation tax for new electric power generating plants built or sold after January 1st, 2003. I'll click Add a Record once again. This looks familiar. We have a couple yes-no questions, a couple required fields, and a couple auto-generated fields. I'll add my answers now, including selecting which power plant I am adding to this record, selected from the drop-down menu. All right, I will now click Add. Time to scroll down a little more. Here I have transmission tax, and I already clicked the Help hyperlink in order to better understand what this is. Based on this explanation, I know I do not need to check the box for municipal utilities, subject to the transmission rates described in code. Instead, I'll focus on the next record to add: the total taxable pole miles of electric transmission lines owned or leased as of December 31st of the preceding year. Reporting is broken into kilovolt ranges, beginning with the range of 34.5 to 100 kilovolts. Complete the miles owned, miles leased, and miles with joint ownership, if applicable. The total pole miles, transmission rate, and transmission tax will update based on the information provided. I only needed to add miles owned. I will click Add to add this record. I have also entered the rest of my numbers for each range of kilovolts and am ready to scroll down to the next section. Next, respond to whether either of the situations occur to a municipal utility before September 1st of the preceding calendar year in your municipal electric cooperative association. I did not have either situation, so I will click No. Finally, before I click Next, I may need to add a record regarding low capacity factor electric power generating plants. Let's see what that is. I'll click the Help hyperlink. Okay, if I believe my plant is a low capacity factor electric power generating plant according to Iowa code, I need to complete this section. I do not believe my plant fits this description, but just so you can see what the fields look like, I will click Add a record. All of these fields are required and will need to be manually entered. Again, my plant does not fit this description, so I will click Cancel. My total electric replacement tax liability has been calculated based on all of my answers. I will now click Next to add my gas choice options. Well, this looks familiar again. I will begin by adding a record for the delivery tax, just like I had done for electric. Same here, but this is looking for therms delivered instead of kilowatt hours delivered. I'll add my information now. I'll now add this service area record by clicking Add. I added one additional delivery tax service area and will now move on to my delivery tax for the new electric power generating plants. We'll need to add the power plant, competitive service area, and the therms delivered. I will do that now. I will now click Add. These are all very similar sections with the same requirements. I will finalize my selections and scroll to the bottom. Here's my total gas replacement tax liability, all totaled up for me. I will now click Next. If I have a Chapter 476C Renewable Energy Tax Credit to claim, I would click Yes, and then complete the required fields. However, I do not have a tax credit to claim, so I will select No, and then click Next. We are almost done. Here we see a review of our tax return information, including each liability and the total liability. If at any point you need to go back to complete any section, you can click Previous or use any hyperlink in the step selector. If you need to save your draft and return later, you can click the Save Draft button. And then click Finish later. You can either click one of the two Continue Editing hyperlinks, or, if you no longer need this return, click Delete. I will click Continue Editing. If you were as close to the end as I was, you'll need to click Next several times. However, this is a great chance for you to review your information. I'm going to skip ahead for the purposes of this tutorial. And I am now where I left off. Confirm submission. To confirm the submission of your return, enter your password in the text field and then click Submit. It is recommended that you write down your confirmation number for future reference. You can also print this confirmation screen by clicking Printable View. Also, pay close attention to the What's Next statement here. Once you are ready to continue, click OK. How can you find your submission? Well, from your account's homepage, click the File, amend or view returns hyperlink once again. Locate the return in your returns list and click the View Submission hyperlink. If your return has not yet been processed by the department, you can still withdraw or delete your submission. However, if your return has been processed by the department, the return will show with a received date and a View or Amend Return hyperlink option. And once you open the return, the only option is to amend the return. For more videos and help on how to navigate the GovConnectIowa portal, visit revenue.iowa.gov/GovConnectIowa and our YouTube page. Thanks for watching.